And for us, digital transformation is a necessity. Just given the way our business has changed and the nature of how quickly everything is being connected, and then the different kinds of applications running on top of our network, many of which we don't serve up. For us, if we don't go digital, we're just not going to participate in that growth. And for us to enable that growth, as well as to actually provide more services to applications that ride upon us, we are embracing digitization through APIs, internal, external, and frankly to the communities that we work with, so holistically. So from an internal perspective, it's all about, for us, it's about speed, right? Because if you think about the gigantic infrastructure that we run, right? We invest $20 billion a year, okay? So there's a lot of systems that support it. And many of these systems have been built up over the years. So the only way for us to speed things up is by making sure that we can do two things. One is expose the systems through APIs that can be easily written to. And for us, that has led to a reduction somewhere between 25 to 50% in terms of how quickly you can get an app up and running. And then from a productivity perspective, somewhere between 10 to 25% by reusing things that have been created, as opposed to rewriting the same piece of code over and over again, by making it accessible through an API. So it creates a lot of internal value along those dimensions. Very high ROI return for us. And it is, as you said, multifarious for us, just given the nature of the company that we are. So we actually have a number of business-to-business customers who are interfacing with us through digital interfaces today, right? Whether they are ordering products and services through digital methods and elements, or using data from within AT&T to run their business, okay? Or it's developers, right, who are a little bit of a different community than our, say, enterprises, who are building applications on top of us. So they might be using our speech technology, our advertising APIs, our SMS APIs, our payment APIs, to people who are essentially channel partners. So from a channel go-to-market perspective, we provide a fairly comprehensive set of products, but we need people to actually build integration around them. And those channel partners are also interacting with us through APIs. So both developers, enterprises, and channel partners, it's all about digital interfaces and how they work with us. I would say, as a whole, I think we have to get used to a world in which not everything is on a purpose-built architecture where all the products and services are served up by you, which is what our history was. I think you have to embrace a world in which your network, as opposed to being the endpoint for all finished services, is a platform. And when you think of it that way, it's easy to say it, but it's really hard to take a purpose-built network, purpose-built infrastructure, and an orientation where all the finished products came from you, and break it up into these horizontal layers that could be sliced off and offered up to developers. So we might not own the voice interface, we might not own the SMS interface. How do you add value in those situations? I think that's a very big transformation than to think about you're servicing not just people, but machines, okay? What are the interfaces for machines? Those are very different, right? And then if you kind of think about the primary growth of the business is data, it's really not voice anymore. And that's another big way in which we are transforming ourselves. Think of data analytics, machines, right? We're getting into the security business, we're getting into the connected car business. Those are all scenarios in which we have partnerships. And so that's a very radical rethink of how our systems, our processes, our go-to-market, what actually is innovation. So it's a wholesale rethink top to bottom for us. Absolutely, it's not just about the technology. First of all, you need a mandate, okay? Because it is a very large way in which you change how you've done business in the past. And it just doesn't happen organically. There has to be a top-down buy-in from the business leadership and the technology leadership simultaneously. So it's kind of like that. You got to get business and technology on the same side, okay? And that is not an easy process to go through, but it's a necessary process to go through. Secondly, there is culture change. After that top-down agreement is helping people understand what it actually means for them, okay? And tangibly, getting it down from the high-level rah-rah for digital business to, okay, for you, let's say it's a business unit, it means that if you're going to do an Ethernet provisioning engine, it cuts it down from 8 months to 4 months. Oh, I can understand that. I'll sign up for that. Or going to an IT unit and saying, you have to do more with less. Well, is that just not more work? No, you actually turn to reuse properly, then it can actually be doing more, but not because you're working longer hours, but because you're working smarter, right? So that culture change, that top-down mandate, that agreement between business and technology, and then making it very real for people, right? And so we've got to the point now where teams actually compete with each other to say, we've API-fied more of our business than you have, but that took a long time to get there. So you had to go through all those elements, and then there's the learning curve, frankly, of learning how to take what is a small system into production. There's always learning curves on that one, right? And then actually finally taking it external, getting people used to working with you externally in this manner is also another marketing challenge. You need to have a developer program for that. So there's a lot of organizational, cultural, business technology agreement elements that need to be put into place. It's not just about the technology. I mean, from our perspective, it has to be somebody who can grow and scale with us, because we are a very large company. We are a $127 billion company, 250,000 employees, and we operate at a scale that's fairly unimaginable for most people. So we need a company, most important, that can grow with us. Grow with us, work with different departments who have different imperatives, right? And understand both the cultural mandate changes as well as the technology aspects. And then as you move down the curve of actually productizing this technology, what are the other different products and services that come along, right? Somebody can help us think through that as well. So all of those elements are important. The technology has to scale, right? The partner must grow with us along those dimensions, and also the partner must be able to work with different business units which have very different mandates. The mandates of an internal API reuse are very different than that of an external developer exposure engine, right?